Hello and welcome again to another one of our Cireson customization videos. Today I'm going to go over a very typical customization with regards to setting support group and analyst fields within an incident form to read only. So let's take a look, see what the out-of-the-box experience looks like. I'm going to go and open up an incident here real quick. And if I scroll down here, you can see that out of the box, I have the ability to select my support group and assign to analyst. Now, you can see I've got all my support groups here. So if I select my desktop team, I can do that. And then also I have the ability to select my analyst. Now, the cool thing is this is locked down to just analysts. So if I have another user here called Scott Watkins, and you can see that he doesn't pop up here because he's not an analyst. He's just a normal user in my environment, as you can see there. However, people ask us, how can I only show the assigned to analysts that are part of the desktop team? So this assigned to will show all analysts in my entire organization. Okay, so that's challenge number one. Challenge number two is, how can you require an analyst to set the support group? So for example, if let's say analyst number two was within my desktop team, but then I go and I assign this over to analyst number one, who's not on the desktop team, I'm not forced to change my support group. So I could apply this and yes, I've assigned it to analyst number one, but my support group never changed with that change. So those are two typical challenges. Well, to get around that challenge, we do have a task here called assign to analyst by group. And what this does is this forces us to select a group. So I could say facilities, and within facilities, here is my analysts that are part of facilities. Now, if I go to select a different group here, desktop team, you'll notice that I've got a different set of analysts. So these analysts that come down in the dropdown are locked to just that support group. Also notice that I can't select an analyst without setting my support group up here. So this fulfills both of those challenges. Now, once we instruct our users to use this task, we're pretty much good to go. However, customers or analysts still do have the ability to modify their support group and assign to here within the form. So ideally, what we would want to do is we would want to restrict users or analysts from making those changes here in the form and only enforce them to only make those changes within tasks. So how do we set these two fields here to read only? Well, let's go and make that customization. I've just hopped on over to my web server here, where our Cireson Portal is installed, and I've navigated to my Cireson Portal directory. So mine's under CNet, C:/inet pub, Cireson Portal v3, and I've actually navigated into a folder called Custom Space. Now, if this is your first video for customization of the Cireson Portal, something to note, the custom space is where we make all of our customizations. Now, this is a sandbox for you to play around with. Any updates that we make to the Cireson Portal will not impact these files here in this custom space. So in order to modify a form, we need to modify the incident.js file. Now, you may ask, well, where am I getting this incident.js file? Because if I open this up, you're going to notice there's all sorts of information here. Obviously, you're not going to create that from scratch. We actually have some templates. So here, if I navigate to my Cireson, if I go to my Cireson Portal, now under the root, if I go to scripts, then I go to forms, then I go to templates. All of these .js files are the forms that you could customize out of the box. So really all I did is I copied this incident.js file from this templates directory and moved it over here to my custom space. So now I'm going to go and edit this incident.js. And again, if you're not too familiar with this process, I'm going to kind of go over what this content is on this file. First of all, we've broken down the file into two different types of forms. This is actually where you could customize your own forms. Right now, we've got the default analyst form, and we've got the default end user form. Now, if I wanted to make any changes to the way end users see an incident, this is where I would make my modifications. But in this case, I only want this to apply to analysts. So I'm going to expand out my default form. Also, within the form, you can see that we've broken out different tabs. For readability's sake here, I'm just going to minimize these tabs so you can see here real quick. So this is my general tab, my activities tab, my related items tab, my resolutions tab. So if I wanted to add new tabs, it's just as simple as me copying and pasting this text and then making a modification to the tab name. Now, the properties I'm looking for is under the general tab. So I'm going to expand that out. And under the general tab are my various different rows and fields. So here is my affected user picker, my alternate contact method field, title, description, classification, impact urgency, and then now here's my support group and assign to. Great, so now we found where this is at. But how do we make the change to set this to read only? Well, there's two ways I could find this out. One very simple way of doing it is, well, if I go to my form here, you can see that priority is set to read only. If I can mouse over it, you see here I can't modify the priority. Priority can only be changed by changing your impact and urgency, which calculates your priority. So I could copy just what we did for priority. So if I go back to here, you can see for priority, we added this little tag here called disable true. Well, it seems pretty simple. Also, if I go out to kb.cireson.com, we actually have an article here called Creating Custom Forms for Cireson Portal. This talks about a lot what I'm covering here. Also, down here, it talks about the field object and all the different properties. And here's where it talks about the disabled property. So this is how you can learn more about all the various different switches you can set up within each of the fields. All right, well, this seems pretty simple. So I'm just going to copy this content here, and I'm just going to add it to the end of each of these. So I've got my disabled equals true for support group, and then the same for the analyst. And that's it. All we got to do is save that file. Customizations are pretty immediate. So here I'm just going to do an F5. I guess I'm going to leave this page. And we'll scroll down. And now you'll see that support group is grayed out, so is assigned to. And the only way for us to make those, to modify those, is to come here, use this task, set my desktop team, select my user, and there we go. Excellent. Well, I want to thank you for watching this little video on customizing the Cireson Portal. Please go and check out all the other videos that we have around all of our other different products, as well as our other series on customizing the Cireson Portal. Thank you very much.